I was leaving everything that I knew, all that security of the job, of the relationship, to go to the unknown. When I quit my job and told my colleagues, I'm quitting, I'm leaving, I'm going to Bali, and there were always those questions, but what are you gonna do? How are you gonna manage? And I didn't have all those answers, but I found peace inside of me.
A lot of times people fear the unknown, people fear change, and sometimes we just think about, what if it doesn't work out? And like the energy difference between what if it does work out and what if it doesn't work out, maybe it's just one word.
Hi, I'm Mimi Zhang, and this is the Explore with Mimi podcast. In our first series, What If It All Works Out, we're diving into bold stories of people making huge life changes. It's raw, inspiring, and just maybe the nudge you need to take your own leap. Let's explore together.
Hey everyone!
Hello.
This is Milena, and I'm Mimi. I think it was a week or two ago when we first met.
Maybe almost 2 weeks already.
Almost 2 weeks? Wow, the time in Bali goes by fast. Just for context, everyone, I have decided to go to Bali for a month, and I met Milena at a women's open mic event. That was really amazing, actually.
Amazing.
Like the energy was just so zen. I felt very in touch with my feminine side, which usually I don't. I think I'm very masculine, like that aggressive, ambitious energy, especially for working in tech so many years. But it made me happy. I was like, oh, I kind of wish I had grown up in a hippie commune.
It really felt like that. Everyone like loving each other and being so nice and supportive.
Our ancestors. You guys are probably curious what that means. Some of you might already know that. But yeah, anyways, I think about 2 months ago, I had this idea, which is starting some sort of like video podcast called What If It All Works Out? And I think I'm going through this like transition phase in my life, and it's like very different from the other stages, and I'm excited that I had the opportunity to take a break and to relax and recharge, and Bali's the place that I go to rest and recharge, and it's got such a spiritual vibe. But I think what I realized is a lot of times people fear the unknown, people fear change, and sometimes we just think about, what if it doesn't work out? And like the energy difference between what if it does work out and what if it doesn't work out, maybe it's just one word, but there's such a difference in that feeling, the energy behind those words uttered. My kind of thought for this podcast was to help inspire people, and myself too. I want to meet cool people, like, more cool people like Milena, who are doing things that are really different than what she was doing before. And these could be stories of people maybe leaving a job, moving to a different country. Maybe it's leaving a relationship. Maybe it's going through therapy. Like it could be all kinds of things, or starting a company. So just want to keep this podcast very open, different types of experiences, and hope that I can inspire people from all walks of life. Know that they're not alone. Yeah. There's other people going through similar things, and hope that this can help people. So yeah, and then it was just great because Milena and I, we met. I think we were like by the pool just chatting, and she mentioned something really interesting, and that is fear and excitement like elicit kind of like similar responses, like emotion wise or like in the body. And she's actually the first person doing this podcast, and I'm so thankful and grateful for you for giving me this opportunity to start my journey.
Yeah,
because it's exciting and scary, but yeah, like Milena, why don't you just share a bit more about yourself, your background, and how you got into the somatic space.
Yeah. Thank you first for allowing me to be here. It's also an honor to be the first one on this podcast, and I love this idea, and so I'm happy to support. Yeah, so I come from Switzerland. I live in different countries, but the last 7 years before coming to Bali, I was back in Switzerland. I was working as a learning and development manager in a company. I was doing coaching, workshops. And there was a point where we know the pandemic happened and everything changed. And so that can be like a really scary thing, but a lot of unknown, of realizing we don't have control of things outside of us. And I decided to use this as an opportunity. And that's when I had so much free time, but still being paid. So there is like this security, I still have money coming in, but I have all this free time to do whatever I feel like. And so I started traveling, and I started doing my own thing. And then when they called me back in the office, like 1.5 years later, I was like, no, I can't do this anymore. Go back to 9 to 5 office job. I don't want that. And so I quit everything and came to Bali 2.5 years ago now. And I just wanted to live the life that I wanted to live, have the lifestyle I wanted to have, slowing down, be more like conscious living. And yeah, a lot of changes, because then I also broke up with my 7-year relationship partner because he didn't, it was too scary for him to quit everything and move here, even he wanted to, but he just couldn't do it. And so I came here anyways without him because we didn't have the same vision of life anymore. So yeah, many changes. And then I came here, I wanted to dedicate fully to this purpose that I have of supporting people to move from fear to love through the somatic attachment healing. So it's about connecting to the wisdom of the body, understanding the nervous system, regulating the nervous system, creating safety, finding resources to then open ourselves to all the amazing things that there is in life and in our relationship, and saying yes to love, to life. And that's what I do now.
Wow, that was just so much to unpack. I was like mind blown. But yeah, that's the pandemic was a time where I think there was a lot of shifts happening, like to remote work. It seemed like there's like overall consciousness. I can't speak for everyone, of course, but it seemed like a lot of people started taking self-care more as a priority. And I'm glad you had that space to start exploring more of the somatic healing. And then I think it must have been pretty hard to leave that 7-year relationship, especially when you invest so much time and energy into someone. But sometimes these growth phases, they can be really massive transformation.
Deny that we are growing in different directions and want different things, and sometimes it's time to release each other with love.
Yeah, and we're able to do that. Wow. And just out of curiosity, was there any point in your journey, you're going through it, that you had any like doubts and fears, and how did you push past that? Maybe through your practices, but just curious.
Yeah, definitely. So I was leaving everything that I knew, all that security of the job, of the relationship, to go to the unknown. And that's when I realized actually that all the work I had done before that, that now was serving me. Because when I quit my job and told my colleagues, I'm quitting, I'm leaving, I'm going to Bali, and they were always those questions, but what are you gonna do? How are you gonna manage? And I didn't have all those answers, but I found peace inside of me, like this kind of faith and trust that all this work I had done before on myself to really build that safety within me, that trust in me, that trust in the universe or whatever we want to believe in, and going for it. And that's when I realized where all those people had still this fear of not knowing what's gonna happen, and I was like, yes, I don't know, I don't have all the answer, but now I want to trust and open. And I thought, I'm gonna go for a year, give it a try, and then see.
Hey, like I think that can be one of the hardest things for people, the not knowing, like what comes next, like the unknown.
Even we can look at it like, I don't know, and so we're coming exactly to the topic of your podcast. I don't know what's happening, and I can imagine, what if it doesn't work? What if I'm gonna fail? What if I'm gonna lose everything? What if I'm gonna be miserable? What if people are gonna reject me, abandon me, make fun of me? But what if it works out? It's also all the possibilities opening to us. And so that's when I heard the topic of your podcast, the concept. I was like, wow, this is really the feeling of anxiety and the feeling of excitement. Actually, it's both coming and be felt from a prediction of an event, of something that's going to happen. We don't know the outcome, and we can either go into what if it doesn't work out, and let's bring that anxiety of what if it works out. Excitement.
It's just like a simple word that can elicit so much emotion in us. And part of the journey is embracing the unknown, just like Milena did.
It can bring so much.
I guess it would be really helpful for the audience to understand more about like the somatic approach. Like I myself probably only stumbled upon it like a year ago, and I don't know that much about it. I think there's a lady that I follow, the Workout Witch. She sells some like courses around like moving different parts of the body. But like I would love to learn more the philosophy behind it, and maybe an example.
So actually somatic is very broad because somatic comes from the word soma, which means related to the body. So many modalities out there and approach can be called somatic because as long as we relate to the body. And so the approach that I have to the somatic is about connecting to the wisdom of the body. Like our body has all the answers and always knows, but we just stop listening because we get into our head, we get distracted by everything, and we shut down this connection to the body. So my approach is about coming back to the wisdom of the body, and especially more I specialize in the nervous system. And so how do we connect to it? Is through the sensation in the body. When you feel like the tension, the contraction, the heaviness, pressure or opening, softening, all the sensation is the wisdom of the body, is the nervous system. And so really interesting when we look at the anxiety and the excitement, they are what we call like arousal congruent because they have the same high arousal. So if you think of anxiety, it's like and if you think of excitement, it's also
I
right?
just want to be honest. Right now, my left hand is like tingling. So what does this mean?
Is it excitement or anxiety?
Or I don't know, like excitement or anxiety.
Yeah.
Maybe it's both.
It can be,
Yeah.
and it has the same effect in our body of high arousal, which is actually our nervous system mobilizing energy to take action. And so how does it look like in the body? The heart beat is faster, the breath is faster as well. There might be sweat, there might be this tingling, this buzzing
Still, like,
feeling,
tingling,
right?
yeah.
It's the same sensation, but it's just the nervous system mobilizing energy. And what is the difference is with anxiety, it's rooted in fear, right? The fear is mobilizing energy. I have to go into fight, flight now. Either I have to fight this or I have to run away from it. Or in excitement, there's also this mobilizing of energy to take action to go towards it. So it's rooted in more safety, right? I feel safe, I can go and take that risk, open myself, be curious, explore. So it's rooted in more safety from the ventral vagal state of the nervous system, but with the energy of what we call the sympathetic nervous system. So it's like a merged state. It's rooted in safety, but it's mobilizing energy.
Can you maybe talk a little bit about the systems of the body? Just in any of the audience don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are three main states of the nervous system. So a lot we hear about parasympathetic and sympathetic, but actually there are three states. The states where we find safety and connection, where we can feel like, okay, I'm safe, I can open, relax, curious, connect with people, connect with the environment. This is what we call the ventral vagal state.
Ventral vagal state. Okay.
But then, if our nervous system, because the main function of the autonomic nervous system is our survival, so it's always scanning for cues of safety or danger, and if it detects a threat, it's gonna go into a survival strategy, which is either the fight flight, and that's where we go in the sympathetic, so it's mobilizing energy, or it's gonna feel I don't have enough energy resources to fight or flight, so it's gonna go into shutdown. And that's where we go into the dorsal vagal state of the nervous system. So it's immobilizing energy. Then we're like shutting down, reducing the energy. So it feels then that we want to make ourselves small. We're not going to speak up. We're going to suppress our needs. We're going to be feeling like discouraged, demotivated, lazy, wanting to isolate. And so that's the shutdown.
I think I've definitely experienced some of that.
We all do.
When I've been
we all
stressed.
do.
So,
Yeah.
that's helpful for context.
Yeah. So for the anxiety is rooted in fear.
Okay.
Excitement is rooted in more safety, but there is that mobilizing energy.
Is there any of that possibility where it could be a bit of both? Because something that I've learned from my therapist a while back ago is when we have emotion, sometimes it's just not all one emotion. Like it could be like anger and also like love and fear or like frustration. So it's just like curious how that works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. There can be this and that, right? And I work, for example, with clients who were going through grief. But there was also a sense of relief and freedom and
releasing,
happiness.
yeah.
And it's, but I can't have that because I'm grieving. Wow, they can be both. They can be this and that. And so that's also with the somatic approach. We learn of, and we're going to practice later, so stay tuned because we're going to practice
on me.
of like how they can be in my body, sensation, parts in my body where I find ease and relaxation that can allow me to resource. And at the same time, there are other parts where there is this tension, this contraction, right?
Oh, so like you're saying like different parts of the body can, like, for
Hold
example,
different-
like hold different sensations.
Yes.
I
So
hadn't
we can
even
use
thought of
one
that.
to resource
Yeah.
to then bring more presence to the other one.
Oh, that's
Yeah, so
interesting.
that's how we can-
I didn't know that.
But also, when you bring that up, what's coming to me is that, so what if it will work out? It can be exciting, but it can also still be bringing anxiety, because what if it works out and I'm gonna be successful? Then
Too
people's not
successful.
gonna love
Yeah.
me anymore. They're gonna be jealous of me.
Like
I'm gonna
some
lose my
people, yeah.
friends, right? Or what if I have this relationship I desire? Maybe I don't know how to receive all
Or
this love.
self-sabotage, like that
It's
bad.
not used.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with that, so it doesn't feel safe. And then we can continue. But then, what if I'm successful and my friends are still around? What if I get this relationship and I learn to receive love and be comfortable with being taken care of? Okay, so we have to continue, because sometimes even what could be exciting, it's still scary because it's not familiar, and so it's not safe for the nervous system.
Does it affect like cortisol levels at all?
Yeah,
Like,
that's what is happening.
Kind of.
So
Yeah.
that's why this sensation in the body is similar, because it brings adrenaline, both with the anxiety and with the excitement. And so the cortisol.
I feel like one of the distinct times where I felt like a ton of adrenaline, like anxiety and fear and also excitement, was when I did skydiving. I was like, I feel like I'm dying.
And there you
so
feel both,
alive.
right?
Yeah, like that was like an example.
Yeah, that's a really good example where it is
It's-
like. And so what is interesting now, because it's much easier to shift from a high arousal, more, we could label it sometimes as like negative charge, right? Uncomfortable, let's say I prefer to use uncomfortable, like anxiety. It's easier to shift to a high arousal, more positive charge like excitement, rather than what most people try to do is like going from excitement, high arousal, into like calmness and stillness, which is low arousal. That's just a big shift for our nervous system. And so it's mobilizing this energy, and if we try to stay still and calm and breathe deeper, the nervous system is going to be like, no, this doesn't feel safe, I cannot be still now, I need to move. So it's much easier to shift from that anxiety, which is high arousal, to the excitement that is high arousal, and then from
can
that
see that.
find more safety, and then grounding.
That makes sense. The only thing is, I'm just trying to think of times when I've been like high, like anxiety at sometimes. It's like, sometimes there's like very important meetings I need to prepare for. And so like beforehand, I think maybe like the day before or maybe the hour before, I have a lot of like anxiety, but then I think I'm calm actually. So yeah, but I guess that's a harder state to get to.
Yeah. And so we want to be curious about the calm. Is it because sometimes what happens is that
Yeah.
it's so overwhelming, all this anxiety, that our system, again the nervous system, to protect us, then go into freeze, because that's too much to handle. Boom. And then it goes into freeze, and it feels maybe, oh, I'm calm now, I don't feel all this anxiety, but it's just the body going into freeze.
Is it ever good to be in freeze, or?
It's definitely up for survival. That's like what animals
kind of
also have
curious
as a
of
strategy.
myself.
But then we want eventually to come out of that, because that's when we get stuck there. That's when it's unhealthy for the body.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
we
think
just need
there's-
to practice.
Yeah, maybe we
I
do
do have
need
more
to practice.
questions before we go into the practice.
Is there anything that you might want to add that might be helpful for the listeners, especially maybe for folks that are hearing about this for the first time? It's very new.
Yeah. So that might be a lot, and that might be confusing. And the one thing I would say is that all that where you notice that you don't know what it is, it's your nervous system. And always know, because I know many people, like even myself, we tend sometimes to judge ourselves for those behavior, like why do I feel like this? Why am I like this controlling, being obsessed, and why? Well, just taking a moment to realize this is all my nervous system doing the best it can to protect me with what it knows, with what it learned. So having that sense of, awareness that is the nervous system, of compassion that is doing its best it can to protect me. And from there we can start building more safety and resources to move from that. But there's no way there if we don't have that awareness, understanding that it's the nervous system, and that compassion, instead of judging ourselves like, why am I like this?
Yeah, I think definitely compassion is really important. I think sometimes we're very critical on ourselves. I know I definitely can be. I think, yeah, there's definitely some fields of work where we tend to be like critical sometimes. Example, I come from a sales background, but I think like trying to take it as like self-constructiveness, compassion, and this is what I'm going through, and it's okay. I accept myself in the moment. These are the areas that maybe I can improve later. It applies to lots of different areas in life, and that's one of the ongoing things I'm still like learning. So,
and this inner critic that we have, it's just there also to protect us. Actually, so if we can recognize it, it's saying, no, don't do that, you're gonna fail, no, you're not good at this, no, you can't do that. But it's just wanting to protect. Hey, what it's saying is, I'm afraid that you're gonna fail, I'm afraid that this is gonna happen to you, I'm afraid that people are gonna judge you, so it's gonna do the work, so it prevents us from going for those things. That's what it's trying to do. So if we can see behind, I see you, I hear you, I know you're afraid.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I'll give you a hug.
Yes, it's gonna be okay.
I'll listen to you.
Yeah.
You know, like
also listening, because when we try to suppress that and ignore that, it's gonna come louder. Hey, you're not listening to me. You're not listening.
True.
Yes, I hear
it's
you.
True.
I hear you. And yes, we can do it. Yes.
All right. All good insights. Let's try a practice.
Yeah. It's gonna be okay. Before we start, so let's see what is that topic for you that you want to bring in this practice.
Wow.
That brings you some anxiety.
Honestly, you guys, since I left my job recently, I think that this will be, is it the end of the 6th week? Can't remember which day it was. July 15th was my last day. But as I went to Maldives, and then now I've been in Bali for 3 weeks, I've been doing a lot of like nature stuff, going to a lot of waterfalls, and like when I go to the waterfalls, I look at the shape of the waterfall coming down. Is it a V? Is it a wave? Are there rainbows? How does is there like a hole with water coming out, like different rocks, how it hits the rocks? Just even stuff like that has brought me a lot of more calmness, and just doing a gratitude journal in the morning and the night, and so I'm like a lot calmer, much more relaxed and present than I was, which is great. So I was telling her, I was like, I'm not really that anxious or have that much anxiety anymore. I did have some anxiety, definitely excitement as well in starting to record this podcast episode. I would say there's probably still some anxiety about like how to launch this. So I think that's the example we're gonna do, but I wish I was more anxious for you. But I think I've.
But it's great that you find already resources like with the mindfulness, being present in the moment, with the senses, the gratitude to help you find calmness.
People such as yourself, like it's very different from what I'm used to. Like just productivity.
That's great that you already managed to find resources in there.
Yeah.
We're exploring. There is still some excitement. Some anxiety and some mercy.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, so invite you to find a comfortable position where you can sit and feel like you can lean to the support, and ideally maybe have your feet on the floor.
Okay,
is that
my
comfortable
feet on the floor is comfortable.
Is it? Movement you need to do your shoulders, neck.
With it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're okay with it.
Yeah, you have something to.
Okay, I think this feels more comfortable. It's like a drum pillow.
Okay. So before we go into the tension or the anxiety, or at least we want to take a moment just to ground. So to feel more resourced, to give space to what is more uncomfortable. So you just take a moment just to feel and notice the support behind your back. And noticing all the touch points between your back and the pillow. You can have your eyes closed, or you can keep them open.
That's gonna be my question. Okay.
Yeah, whatever feels comfortable. Some people closing their eyes bring anxiety, so then I recommend it to it with a soft eye gaze. But just bringing the awareness to all the touch points between your back and the pillow, so that with every inhale you can take in that support, and as you exhale you can allow your back to lean into the support. And taking a few more breaths here to feel your back supported and held. As you exhale, you allow your back to lean into the pillow. Taking 3 more breaths here. Be held and supported. And then bringing your awareness down into the sit bones. Start noticing now also how you're held and supported. Feeling the contact between this support underneath your sit bone. And with every exhale, you can allow yourself to ground a little bit more. Allowing the sit bones to soften and relax into the support. Taking a few more breaths here, taking that support in, exhaling, and just letting the sit bones relax into the support. And from here, moving down into your feet to notice your feet resting on the ground. And sending your awareness, your breath all the way down into your feet to feel how you're held and supported. With every inhale, taking that energy in from the support, from the ground, from the earth. As you exhale, grounding yourself a little bit more. And let's take 3 more breaths here, feeling the support of the ground. Beautiful. And now noticing how I'm here with all my compassion, all my support, and so that it's safe to go and explore the sensation in your body. And so now I want to invite you to go and bring your awareness into your body and bring your focus to this idea that you had about launching this podcast. And so starting noticing everything of this launch and putting it out there, everybody's gonna listen to it, watch it, and seeing like what are things that maybe you're still saying, what if it doesn't work out? And so let's just come to the souls. If there's any soul that like, what is scary about it? You can share with me, then your is your awareness inward and sharing. What are the souls that's coming out?
So I can talk about it or talk to myself? Okay.
As you like. You can just share what are the souls around, like, what is scary about it?
What's scary about it? Judgment from people of what I say, perhaps. Maybe no one will watch it, which is also fine. Even if I'm doing it for myself, I'm thinking, what's the worst that could happen, and is that really that bad? The judgment piece, what does it matter if people judge at the end of the day? People always have their own opinions, so I cannot stop people from thinking what they want to think, and people have their own triggers and their own experiences, and that's might be a mirror on them. And I think more just lean in on the connection and the joy and trying to understand, and just like my one of my core values is just being open. And I think like my other thought is I want to be like a bridge to share other people's stories and just be open to just to listen and also help other people or inspire them. Just like leaning more into that. I think that feels a lot better than some of these other negative thoughts. And just doing this exercise also makes me feel very relaxed, and just imagining the energy coming from my head, going all the way through the back of my head, through my neck, through my back, and the top of my back to the bottom of my back, connected to the cushion, like how that feels really comfy, and through my thigh and through my calf and to the ground, and like recycling that energy and it going all the way back up. These are just like some thoughts that I'm like spitballing, but it's just, yeah, feeling good and being in the moment. I think that's more of what I'm seeking, and yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing all those thoughts, and I like how you're already like supporting yourself and going into, does it really matter, what is really the worst, and like your perspective on it that supports you and looking at it differently. And so we all have like sometimes the resources to do that and to shift perspective, and then we tend to go directly to that. Yet we want to first give space to the feeling, because that's what we sometimes tend to do. There is the first feeling of a little bit of this anxiety, this fear of the judgment, but we skip it and we directly go into shifting our perspective, but we suppress the original feeling. And so we want first, the only way to really release what is there before we shift the perspective is to allow it to be felt and to be seen and to be heard. And that's really the way to move through the emotion. So
tough.
we want to acknowledge. Yes, I know you wanted to skip that part.
I wanted to, honestly, but yeah.
But it's okay. So I see how you have all the resources. You feel calm and supported here, so that we can give space, so that there's this part of you still that wants to be acknowledged. There is this part of you that has some fear about the judgment of people. And so just we want to give space, because these parts get to be seen and heard. And so as you're bringing your focus to that fear of judgment, what is coming up? What are you noticing in your body?
Yeah, I'm trying to allow that fear to be present, that anxiety. I mean, I did want to skip it, to be honest. I was like caught up in all the energy and excitement. That fear, I think some of it resides in my hands and my fingers. Maybe that's the similar area where when my therapist and I were trying to feel sensations in the body, it would come from. So my hands right now, some of it seems to be around the chest area, maybe the throat, maybe a little bit on the back of my head too. Generally, right in the fingers and the hands is.
Can you describe how's that sensation? If you their awareness just to the hands first.
The hands are like tingly. Maybe there's a little bit of weight in them, and in the chest might be a little bit heavy, a little bit harder to breathe. That sensation. That the back, or not the back, the back of my head feels like a little bit, I don't know if the airiness is the right word, but I feel maybe a little airiness, a little lightheadedness, or something along those lines. Yeah. Maybe there's a little bit of feeling with the butterflies in my stomach. Now I'm noticing a little bit in my legs, maybe in the lower thigh and the calf, especially the right calf. And then there's like feeling some tingliness in my feet. Like, I think as I sit with this longer, it seems to spread to other parts of the body, or maybe I'm just like noticing it more now. Yeah.
What a beautiful bodily sensation awareness you have, and allowing to give space to all of that is going inside of you. And so which one is the most present right now that would need your attention, would need more support?
I think the hands. The hands definitely place where it needs the most support.
So I invite you to take a moment just to bring your awareness, your presence, attention, support to the hands. And just noticing the sensation. We are not trying to make it go away. We are welcoming the sensation. As you still feel like supported on this bench, you feel the pillow behind your back, you feel fully supported and held. So you can give space and be present with that sensation in the hands. We're not trying to change it. We're not trying to control it. We're just allowing it to be there. And you can keep describing of how does it feel in your hands, what's happening when you give it space.
Maybe it feels less tingly, but for some reason I feel like it's getting a little bit harder to breathe. Maybe it's trying to move to the, chest.
Yeah, so let's move to the chest. Like, we want to support now on the chest because it feels like.
But now it's moving.
Restricting. Where is it moving?
No, it's like moving back and forth from like the chest and the hands. Should I focus on the chest?
So you can allow that energy that is moving between the chest and the hands, but you feel still the support, bones on the bench, you feel the back supported with the pillow. And so you're just witnessing, this is not who you are, this is not all of your experience, and you're just witnessing that energy moving between your chest and the hands. All that mobilizing energy that your body is producing. Just allowing it to be there. And then you can share what is happening. I notice now
I think I am trying to also calm myself down, whether I should or should. I guess it's hard just to observe, honestly, but I think when I'm not trying to like calm myself down, it's similar, just really tingly in my arms or someness. Not my arms, but fingers. It's just like some tenseness that I'm like just trying to hold space for it, and it's not easy.
I know, and you're doing great. But there is this tendency, I want to make it go away.
Yeah,
I
still want to, like when I'm breathing.
So imagining like this is like a friend who is in need, who needs your support, needs your attention, and you're just there, being with it, being present, allowing it to be there. And yet you feel that you have all the resources to support, to be there with it. holding space for it, because you feel your feet on the ground, you feel your sit bones on the bench, you feel your back supported by the pillow, you feel your whole body as this big container. You have all the resources to give space to that sensation, allowing it to move as it wants to move.
I feel like it goes from like my hands, maybe a little bit to my arm now, to like my chest. I don't know, it like moves around like this.
Yeah.
It doesn't like want to stay in the same space, and just, or if it does, it just balls up like some anxiety, and then I'm trying to give it just like observing it.
Yeah, beautiful. So you're allowing it to move, because that's what all emotion wants to do. The essence is to be felt and to move. So you're allowing that energy to move so beautifully. And so now we want to bring it. Yes, there is this fear of the judgment, right? That brings all that mobilization energy. So now we want to bring some safety to it. Of like seeing that part of you that is afraid of the judgment. What is it that it needs and wants?
Well, I weirdly, maybe not weirdly, but in a cool way, see like moon and stars keep showing up. Like in the, like I imagine in the middle of my forehead. It keeps showing up. I think you might need to repeat your
question.
Yeah.
Yes. So this part of you that is afraid of judgment, what does it really want and need? What would feel good for this part? Is it like to be accepted?
I think the word that keeps coming up is seen. But I don't know exactly what seen means. Maybe it correlates with being accepted, being loved.
Yeah.
Yeah. Being
Beautiful.
seen. Coming up.
So there's this part of you that wants to be seen. And so can you take a moment just to allow this part to be seen? There's this part that knows it has a gift. It has so much to share when it can really be in the essence. And so there's so much beauty from it. And so this part just wants to be seen. And that's what you're doing with this podcast also, allowing this part to be seen, to share and express all what it has. So can you take a moment just to acknowledge this part and letting it feel your presence, feel that you see all the beauty in it, all the qualities, all what it has to gift and share to this world, the beauty of its essence. And just allowing this part to be seen and feel like micro smile, like what is happening?
I think I'm trying to tell myself it's okay to be seen, it's okay to be vulnerable, even when it's scary sometimes. It's just really different. So I think I'm used to being more polished, just like off the cuff, and so just being seen as I am, unpolished, times raw.
Yes. And
Scary,
before it
it's
gets to be
different.
seen by others this way, you want to bring that safety of like how you can see that way, so that it starts feeling that familiarity and safety from you, from receiving it from you. You can see yourself in all this imperfection, not polished, and that's unique and that's special and that's beautiful. So allowing to see yourself and welcome that, so that this part of you can become more familiar with that, feel more safe with that, to receive it from you. So taking a few more breaths here with that part, so that you see all the unpolished side, and that's how it's beautiful and unique, and what's coming up.
I'm just thinking about like how for other people too, it's okay to not always be polished. It's okay to be seen in your different ways, if that's what you want to share with the world.
Yeah, to realize that.
More of a sense of calmness. Like I think part of my journey is like I want to find more authenticity and alignment to my true self, whatever that may mean. I think there's we all have a lot of layers, a lot of dimensions within ourselves. So I'm exploring those bits.
So
Infinite,
let's see of how exciting it is that you get to do this project of podcast, to inspire others, inspire yourself to be seen in your authentic self, align with who you really are, and showing that outside, inspiring others. How exciting is that? How does that feel?
It feels so exciting. I feel like I'm gonna have like tears of joy. I literally feel I'm tearing up. Yeah.
So just allowing that sensation to be there, to move through like this excitement, this joy.
It feels so amazing. I just feel it everywhere, and I'm so happy, so grateful, and I'm like,
yeah, so welcoming all that.
Yeah.
Welcoming all that energy. I see the
wanna,
excitement,
like,
the joy.
I just
The team is so
want to scream and yeah! Oh my god!
Oh, that huge shift.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And authentic.
Yeah,
Like I see it.
that was
How does that feel
crazy.
in your body now? How does
So,
the sensation
so much
feel?
lighter. Like the energy has transfused, and I don't think I've ever recorded anything of me like crying. So
How
yeah,
people get to see you, the essence of you, authentic, real. You're doing what you're passionate about. You bring this out there. I'm so proud of you.
thank you so much, Milena. Oh, you've been a godsend. Been truly grateful, and being part of this journey, the beginning.
Thank you for trusting me, guiding you.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
It's crazy.
You're rocking it on your first episode. Wow. You want authenticity? You want alignment, inspiration? Here you are. Here you are. This is real.
Milena's your gal. You share with them where we can find you. And I want to give space for you for that, and send you love and abundance, and awesome people your way.
Well, I feel so full in my body from receiving.
Receive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like when you
like-
give this way, you receive. It fills your heart. It fills up your heart.
It's amazing, and I hope I can give to other people, hold them space, and also share their stories and help people. Yeah.
That's what I like this journey. It always starts with tension and then moving to expansion. So yeah, you can find me on Instagram, connect in and out. It's like bit focus is connect underscore in underscore and underscore out underscore.
I'll put it in the description,
put it there
and
so people can find. And yeah, love to support people on that journey. That fills me up because it's really coming from the heart. And yeah, thank you. Thank you.
thank you so much. And that's our wrap.
That's it for this episode of Explore with Mimi. If today's story got you thinking, laughing, or maybe even planning your next big leap, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, or share it with a friend. It might be just what they need too. Remember, no matter where life takes you, what if it all works out? I'll see you next time.